Musk isn't my enemy. Elon Musk is funny. Musk's companies, fucking Solar City, SpaceX, same shit. Alright? Tesla, fucking company loses money on every car they make.
You're Mr. Musk. You're a beast. You went from Iron Man to Michael Scott. You delisted Twitter, so it's not a stock anymore. Shareholders are cashing out at $54.20 per share because they agreed to sell for $44 billion if there's 766,837,000 shares outstanding. And the share price bubbled at $77 in February 2021. Then the market cap was $59 billion. If the events in Ukraine never happened at a 10% growth rate, Twitter's market cap would be $75 billion with Trump. You fundraised from random oligarchs and institutions instead of securing loans against Tesla's equity.
The company last year generated just over $630 million in operating cash flow, while this new debt could potentially swell its interest payments to more than $1 billion a year.
That's a lot of money that they have to pay down with cash. And where are they going to find that cash?
Strangely, if you offered each of the 7,500 employees $5 million to quit and then collapse Twitter, you would have pocketed $6.5 billion. Your margin for error is tiny, but Twitter won't be pushing up daisies because Twitter is opium for your brain. Now you're faced with a crisis. If you aren't chipping away at the credit, you will be forced to list Twitter as public. That means your 10 Qs and 10 Ks will be in everyone's bird's eye view.
It's tough to determine the state of Twitter's financial health now that it's a private company, but analysts have been able to piece together an assessment from the company's last regulatory filings and Musk's public statements. S&P data showed that Twitter had less than $600 million in net debt before the takeover talks.
Now, post-acquisition, they have $13 billion in debt. That's a major burden on their shoulders.
Being public creates hidden agendas to damage your net worth.
And are you shorting Tesla? I mean, that's his sort of underlying concern.
It's possible that the stock went down and whoever shorted the stock made money. I don't know. Did it go down in the last month?
Explain to me what the fuck Bill Gates was talking about when he was saying that you can't do trucks.
Well,
what was?
Yeah, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Why did he say that then?
I don't know, it's weird. I also heard that at one point he had a big short position against Tesla, which was kind of, I don't know if that's true or not, but some people I know who know the situation well, I said, are you sure? They said, yeah, he had a big short position against Tesla, which obviously didn't work out too well. It's not like a unicorn, like it was like Pegasus or something. I was like, what are you talking about?
Shorting is when you borrow someone else's property and sell it instantly for cash with the condition you replace those assets. Let X represent a quantity. The accounting would reflect as negative X units of whatever property you sold, and the proceeds of the sale deposit as cash. Being bearish about a stock's future price means you can profit through short selling, but there's unlimited downside to specifically shorting as a strategy. Let's say you shorted 1,000 shares for $8 each. You're deposited $8,000. However, in the books, you have negative 1,000 shares. If the share price goes down to $1 next week, then you need to cough up $1,000 to replace those 1,000 shares. Therefore, you would profit $7,000 after exiting your short position. If the share price instead went from $8 to $1,000 per share after 1 week of shorting, then you would need to cover the 1,000 shares at $1,000 each, making your debt $1 million. Anyone who owned the shares for $8 each became wealthy, making millions in their sleep. But instead, you, the short seller, wound up owing the broker a $1 million loan in the span of only 3 weeks. Twitter has always been a bag hold. Why? Profitability and growth. Twitter should become a charity case. we hijack to change the narrative. Otherwise, Elon is going to have more part-time jobs than your local Uber Eats driver. Cut the cord on Twitter becoming profitable. Otherwise, our house of cards is going to crumble. Instead, focus on manipulating Tesla's stock price. Tesla has more cash flow potential to repurchase shares and pay loans off. Censor critics of Tesla while amplifying propaganda when they find out and protest. Censor that too. First, win the favor of the bankers. How? Our equal, Trump. Work with Trump while pretending he's your frenemy to rig the election. Process it as Biden losing instead of Trump winning. Once Trump is president, influence executive orders and change laws to daddy fix the markets. Think in terms of what Trump wants. Learn from him, observe him, but don't worship him. Believe you can surpass him. Those who harbor the second best attitude are invariably misunderstood to be weak. When you're not busy finessing Trump, don't forget to study the reason why all of his relationships fail. Soon, everyone will be so rich, they'll go bananas and lose their minds. Trump has entered the chat. We need to make lots of deals. And who better than our buddy, master of the deal, Donald Trump?
I want surveillance of certain mosques, okay?
Poor guy, you gotta see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the...
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS.
The problem is investing in markets under Biden is like stepping in dung. The banks aren't loaning money to people who need it. Ever since 2008 and Obama, banks need to be less picky for who they approve lending to. Brand fiscal conservatism as the new wave of libertarianism and liberalism to monger votes from the left, center, and everywhere else we can find pea-brains to convert. The Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act is a skeleton in America's closet, left there by Obama. Our first order of business is repealing it. Promise more tax cuts for corporations, foreign investors, and the 1%. Wall Street, Bay Street, Goldman Sachs, and rating agencies like Morningstar are going to publish higher price targets if Trump wins. De-escalate the events in Ukraine while provoking China to invade Taiwan. That way, the world will cancel China and the sanctions will begin. Give tech companies a reason to relocate supply chains so we can murder the elephant in the room and drive a nail into its coffin. Have Trump introduce EV subsidies while promoting Tesla's Cybertruck. Statistically, Republican voters lead in the sales of trucks and luxury cars. This is an opportunity to increase demand for the Tesla Cybertruck. Have Trump promote Home Depot, 3M, construction companies, lithium mining, and renewable energy so markets connect the dots and become bullish on Tesla. Soon, Jim Cramer, Reddit, and Wall Street Bets will start riding Trump's wave, and stock markets will be booming again. A major issue with America's government is they don't have consistent policies that last from one administration to the next. Trump partially banned Huawei and imposed other restrictions on China. The problem with Trump's valid warnings of TikTok, Huawei, and other Chinese concerns was they got mixed in and associated with his COVID racism, bigotry, and nationalism. Now, Biden's third eye has been opened, but he has to convince Congress of basically the same things Trump was warning us of. Add partisan fights, and you wind up in the current climate, an inefficient process of policy implementation comparable to a children's game. Like What Time Is It, Mr. Wolf, or Red Light, Green Light. The solution, using executive orders to ratify statutes and adding legal stipulations in the fine print, making it very difficult to reverse them without many levels of voting. The events in Ukraine and the China-US trade war taught us America can't rely on foreign infrastructure in case supply chains get hostile and extortionary. Trump is going to sign draconian executive orders for us that ban Twitter's competitors from being downloaded in the US. Claim it's because of concerns to national security and serves as a way to stimulate the domestic economy. Next, undress the legal system's weaknesses by pardoning everyone from prison need on the outside. You need to bring back wild cards.
Welcome El Chapo Guzman.
Ross Ulbricht, Roman Seleznev, and Hamza Bendelaj to shake things up. Soon, our new friends will owe Elon and Trump favors. When the favors and brownie points accumulate, that's when the hackings and the shootings start. Once the ball's in our court, prepare to taste blood and rock the boat until everyone sinks like the Titanic. Don't forget to dig Mike Pence's grave while we influence Trump to pick a better vice president too. Users are pulling their hair out because they have a different app for every restaurant they visit. Starbucks, McDonald's, Domino's, Dunkin' Donuts, KFC, the list goes on. Everyone's phone is overloaded with apps. Users just want one app that works across the board. Your solution is transforming Twitter into a super app like WeChat, owned by Tencent. The app is going to be Twitter combined with YouTube, Amazon, TikTok, Gmail, Messenger, Google Maps, Spotify, Uber, Airbnb, Tinder, and Instagram. Everyone's reptile brain needs a dopamine rush when they think about our app. When Twitter becomes more addictive than crystal meth, that's when habits start to change and everyone becomes our Pavlov dog. With a cross-platform monopoly, you're redefining what virality means. Usually, only one type of content can go viral on any given app. But now, on Twitter 2.0, not only can tweets go viral, but so can businesses, products, and services. The only problem is if you don't have a plan. Twitter will be the next MySpace instead of the next WeChat. The solution? Rip a page out of China's playbook and disregard the intellectual property rights of our competitors like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and so on. Steal and recycle source code from other apps. So Twitter has the infrastructure to replace these apps. Stealing saves time and solves the problem of gaining traction compared to building from scratch. Next, introduce geotags like Instagram. Users should be able to visit profiles of businesses located at geotags, compare posts, and make direct orders and payments that are completed within seconds, all in one feed. Let's pretend you see a restaurant on Twitter. You need to be able to order ride sharing on Twitter, taking you to the business's location in person. Once you're at the restaurant, you should be able to view the menu, order items, and place your tip on the app, just like WeChat. Everyone's happy. Users are addicted to the tweets, memes, and world news while easily accessing products and services. The barrier for entry for users should only be requiring a smartphone and a bank account. Next, we need stories. Lots of people only watch stories on Instagram. We need stories to be booming on Twitter. Users need to be able to like and reply to stories like Instagram. Next, showcase mostly pro-Tesla news in the algorithm while also promoting controversial topics periodically so people stay engaged, interested, and wanting to see what's happening on Twitter. If you encourage people with a wide range of views to debate, they can better understand people they disagree with. That way, society can reach mutual solutions in a fair way with minimal upset and bad blood. Be mindful, lots of advertisers might not like pornography or the N-word near their ads. The solution is to shadow ban certain content when appropriate to maximize ad spend. That way, people aren't alienated or foaming from the mouth, thinking you're a hypocrite since they can't see all the tweaks going on in Twitter's back end. Normally, apps that are free make money 3 ways: advertising, in-app purchases, or selling your data to third parties. Our main focus for Twitter is mining data, which we will broker to organizations and governments. Create third-party shell companies to sell Twitter's data. That way, we remove any liability on the invoices. In conclusion, we need to collect data on users' age, sex, location, sites they visit, purchase history, phone records, political affiliations, whether they have children, eye tracking, voice data, their IP addresses, land registry information, voter registration records, eating habits, grocery habits, credit scores, religious affiliations, where they travel or vacation, medical records, and more. Study this data and recognize patterns. Determine how risky people's lives are so we can sell their data to insurance companies. Designate importance for these variables and make an algorithmic formula which ranks people like a social credit score. What's even higher priority is making the app better and more addictive. Once we execute our plan and cast our spells, all our competitors will be living on borrowed time. People aren't natively checking their Twitter DMs. Normally, tweets are screenshotted, reposted on Instagram, copied and pasted into Instagram DMs, or users at someone in the Twitter comments so they get a notification. This is a problem that needs to change. Twitter chat needs to be a hybrid of PGP, Instagram DM, Skype, Discord, WhatsApp, and WeChat. In China, WeChat started as a messenger app comparable to Kik before it evolved. That way, the way we round up loyalty is through superior encryption. People need
PGP encryption
for messages on Twitter, so we compete with the Signal app. Add optional statuses for profiles like online, busy, or offline to encourage interactions and personalization. Integrate hold-to-talk messaging, broadcast messaging, video calls, conferencing, location sharing, and more. Plunge your knife into Zoom and Google Meetings by stealing every feature you like from their apps. Twitter needs to integrate a voice over internet protocol service, or VoIP, allowing users to call mobile phones and landlines worldwide without a SIM card. Create a system of points or tokens that can be loaded onto the app using a credit card in order to make VoIP calls. If people believe they're spending points instead of dollars directly, psychologically, they will have less loss aversion to spending. Make the app feel more like a game. In order to do business in China, you need WeChat. Nearly everyone in China has a QR code that is connected to their bank account. Scanning a QR code on WeChat has the same purpose as exchanging business cards, but it saves time. Adding a contact, business, or location on Twitter should be as easy as a simple QR scan. Think of ways to gamify the QR code scanning. Consider taking notes from the game Pokemon Go so you can blur the lines between the real world and the virtual world. Offer incentives, discounts, and promotions for adopters of our QR system. Have celebrities and influencers start using QR codes on social media too. Soon, if you're not scanning QR codes to make life easier, everyone will consider you a social outcast that isn't in the loop. China leapfrogged a dependence on credit cards and went straight to a cashless-centric system through WeChat and QR codes. QR codes associated to a digital wallet linked to users' bank accounts should be how money moves between users and businesses. WeChat Pay, Apple Pay, and Alipay need to be obliterated. Our main goal is to become everyone's bank that offers financial services. Elon started his career with PayPal, which makes him a cookie-cutter match for implementing Twitter's payment infrastructure. Firstly, new Twitter users need to register with our private email registration on our dedicated web hosting servers. When it comes time to scale our capital expenditures and buy data centers, we'll have more than one use for our data properties and can cut costs at scale. It's a lot more cost effective if every user has one unique user ID from one platform across multiple platforms, instead of having to match email addresses, IP addresses, browser logins, and so on across multiple platforms. Give people instructions on how to set up a deposit account and use our credit system as soon as they register an email under our hosting to make a Twitter account. In order to set up a Twitter bank account, we require 2 pieces of government-issued ID to avoid fraud and abuse. At entry level, allow credit of around $500 for payments made with our app. Payments should be possible in real life at point-of-sale machines like Apple Pay. Make credit payments interest-free for 90-day periods. Brand it as a buy now, pay later model. Require no credit checks, but make it so people with bad credit can rebuild their credit through Twitter Pay. Most people have bad credit, so it creates an incentive to use us as their primary payment method. If people pay on time, allow them to defer payments for 1 month. This gives us an advantage over Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and other institutions. Deferred payments also free up customers' cash flow, so it's easier to manage bills like rent, car payments, phone bills, groceries, or medical bills. Because customers are paying 0% interest, the way money is made is through our merchant partners. Why? Because merchants working with us will have increased conversions because of our pay later system. Soon, the new normal is everyone being comfortable integrating banking and payments on their social media apps. If there's social proof of others signing up, it legitimizes our services. People should be able to transfer money from bank to bank through the app instead of just making purchases or sales. Copy these features to compete with Interact eTransfer, Cash App, Venmo, and Western Union. Make sure users can deposit, buy, and sell foreign currencies with our banking system. Figure out a way to integrate cryptocurrency wallets and crypto payments too. That way, we extract billions in undeclared wealth from the black market. Make it so people can pay their medical and insurance bills through the app. When we have access to everyone's medical records, we can reverse engineer advertising to play everyone like a fiddle. Transactions requiring shipping should also be possible through the app. Similar to Amazon Prime, buy warehouses and transform them into fulfillment centers to compete with Amazon FBA's consignment strategy.
Reels already makes up more than 20% of the time that people spend on Instagram.
Google said in June that more than 1.5 billion people watch YouTube Shorts every month. TikTok said in September the app had drawn more than 1 billion monthly users. Third-party estimates have shown that number as high as 1.6 billion monthly users. The short video craze also inspired Pinterest to create Watch last year.
Children are the ones in your crosshairs for short-form videos. Your priority should be to increase retention and time spent on the app. Study what people reshare, like, and comment on. Over time, content's becoming more and more video-based and less picture-based. Before TikTok, there was Vine. Vine already has brand recognition, so bring it back from the dead to compete with TikTok. For creators and businesses, a new platform means an easier time being discovered versus more saturated platforms that already exist. Partner with e-commerce platforms like Shopify to help businesses connect with customers directly through ads. Enable first and third-party cookies on top of your existing tools so we have more comprehensive targeting. There's a problem though, getting more people to use our short-form video feature. Pay creators out of your own pocket to convince them to post on our app. Designate at least $4 billion to a fund given out to creators. Create monetization opportunities like YouTube does. That way, the app will market itself. Have influencers like Gary Vee, Joe Rogan, and Lex Friedman talk about how Twitter video is the future of marketing to brainwash the youth. Within no time, Twitter Shorts will be the most profitable advertising platform, and there won't be any crumbs left for our competitors. There used to be a time when getting around was much more complicated. People used to bring difficult to fold paper maps with them in their cars, which would lead to lots of arguments and confusion. A lot of the time, people would need to stop and ask locals for directions.
Today, more than 1 billion people use Google Maps every month. And in 17 years, it's evolved from a desktop application to a massive mobile platform that continuously updates information about a location.
We have over 150 million people around the world that are contributing information with 50 million updates a day coming from the community, from the public sector. So think of the map as being alive.
But the amount of data it collects has also attracted criticism from privacy experts.
Today, we have GPS in our pockets, on our phones, anywhere in the world. Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, all of these can be used to get from point A to B. Currently, there's over 1 billion users of Google Maps. It's the most popular app most people use on a day-to-day basis. Google created a helpful new way to explore the world. You can drop a pin on a bird's eye view of a map and then be on the street navigating from the point of view of someone in a car. Create a pay to promote your pin on the map program to compete with Google Guides. Start using Tesla's self-driving cars to create a more detailed street view than Google Maps and Google Earth. We need users to know exactly what landmarks, property, and signage looks like in any area. All this data needs to be updated at least 4 times a year. Because Tesla already has self-driving cars and Starlink satellites, creating our own maps shouldn't be rocket science. We need detailed traffic data, data on road closures, and weather data with the help of Starlink, SpaceX, and Tesla. To get Street View, you start with a 360-degree camera equipped with LiDAR sensors on top of custom self-driving Teslas with GPS. Update Tesla map data at least 2 to 4 times a year. Why? Because there's an issue of Google Street View being out of date due to construction, businesses changing, new traffic signs, or new traffic lights. We need our maps pinch to zoom feature, more precise than Google, so it's more preferable and user friendly. Cater to people who walk, hike, and bike too. Bikers should be able to see which catwalks, forests, parks, and other spaces they can bike through, as opposed to having routes calculating only the main road and side roads to get from point A to B. Hire people to put on backpacks with cameras to get street views of places cars can't go. Depending on the terrain, we will need to use transportation like snowmobiles or bikes to build better street views. Have very precise schedules for public transit routes as well. If users know the perfect time to walk to a bus stop before the bus arrives, it'll make everyone's life easier. These days, all ride sharing and transportation have been aggregated into one app, and it's called Uber. Uber allows people to call taxis, gives drivers a chance to make money on their own schedule anywhere in the world, and allows for food delivery. It also helps customers can see where the driver is at all times on the map. Recently, even groceries have been something people can get with Uber Eats. Delivery must be as easy as installing an app, auto-filling credit card details, and entering your pickup and drop-off location. Combine our maps with business reviews to compete with Google reviews and Yelp. A lot of local businesses rely on customer reviews. Potential customers look at how many stars out of 5 a restaurant or business has when making purchasing decisions. Duplicate this infrastructure so local businesses have an opportunity to prosper through our super app. Bankruptcy is an opportunity to make money. How? Because if you're private, shareholders won't notice us cooking the books. Make complex third-party contracts where you get paid for consulting with companies you already own. At the same time, shift your own personal debts, Tesla's debts, and SpaceX's debts onto Twitter's books. before you have the blue bird declare bankruptcy. Consider firing shots at Tinder, Airbnb, Netflix, YouTube, Disney, Nvidia, Android, and iOS to be more thorough. Get into the biometrics game too by competing with the Apple Watch. Claim that you're saving people's lives and making them healthier. With everything considered, if you identify every source of pain and heal them for customers, soon the world will be bowing to Elon's New World Order. We're going to pump them, then we're going to dump them. Everyone's going to be begging for more to install our spyware while celebrating your accomplishments.